Do you know that in ancient temples, women on their menstrual cycles were banned from entering sacred spaces? Sounds like the plot of a lost myth or a scandalous piece of gossip, right? But what if I told you this wasn't about shame or superstition? It's about something much deeper, something mysterious, sacred, and powerful. Picture this. You're standing before a grand, ancient temple, its towering pillars reaching for the heavens, adorned with symbols of divine wisdom. The air is thick with energy, an energy so potent, it feels like it could crack open the universe itself. But there's a catch. A woman on her cycle, considered to be in a state of impurity, is prohibited from entering. Why? Is it an ancient form of control, or is there a hidden, profound reason beneath this seemingly archaic rule? Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button to join the awakening. Trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. To understand why menstruating women were often banned, we must first delve into the very essence of these ancient practices. Across various cultures, from Egypt to Mesopotamia, India, and Greece, spiritual rites were governed by ritual purity. The concept was clear, only those deemed pure could engage with the divine. But what does purity truly mean? In ancient esoteric traditions, it wasn't just about physical cleanliness. Purity was about maintaining a certain energetic state, one that allowed the individual to connect with higher frequencies, to commune with gods and goddesses, to unlock hidden wisdom. Now, don't misunderstand. This wasn't an attack on femininity. Rather, it was about the understanding that every cycle of life carries its own unique energy. Just as the full moon has its own qualities, so too does the menstrual cycle carry an ancient, potent force. In many traditions, menstruation was seen as a time of intense inner alchemy, a period where women tapped into an unseen, raw power. The ancients understood that the body, during this time, underwent a kind of spiritual transformation. In the Rig Veda, an ancient Hindu text, menstruation was described as a time when a woman's body was aligning with cosmic forces. This was not a time of impurity, but a time of potent creation energy. Yet, paradoxically, it was also seen as a time when a woman's energetic vibration could potentially disrupt the delicate balance of sacred spaces. The energy of menstruation is powerful, but so too is the energy of a sacred temple. In many ancient systems, the temple was a microcosm of the cosmos, and just as the cosmos had its balance, so too did the temple. Women, during their menstrual cycles, were seen to radiate a different type of energy, one that, in some belief systems, was thought to be incompatible with the temple's vibrational frequency. In some cultures, menstruating women were regarded as untouchable, in the sense that their presence could disturb the sacred rituals, the divine energy, or even the flow of sacred knowledge. Let me paint a picture. Imagine an ancient temple during a time of celestial alignment. The priests and priestesses are in the inner sanctum, engaging in rites that channel cosmic power. The air crackles with intensity. This is not a mundane act, it is the weaving of the universe's energies. Into this space, a woman, menstruating, enters. She brings with her not just her body, but her own unique energy, a force of creation, yes, but also one that could shift the delicate balance within this sacred space. In this context, banning menstruating women from entering the temple wasn't about oppression. It was about maintaining the sanctity of the sacred energy field, ensuring that nothing disturbed the cosmic flow. The temples were, after all, designed to mirror the universe, perfect in its balance, with each element contributing to a greater whole. But was this ban based on a misunderstanding? Or was it a deeper spiritual wisdom, perhaps lost in the sands of time? The menstrual cycle is often regarded as a time of purification, but let's look at this from a deeper, more occult perspective. The menstrual cycle represents an intricate interplay between the physical, emotional, and spiritual bodies. Just like the moon, which waxes and wanes, the female body also flows in cycles, each with its own ebb and flow of energy. This cycle is not only biological but deeply spiritual, connected to the rhythm of the cosmos. In many esoteric traditions, the menstrual cycle was seen as an expression of the sacred feminine, the divine principle that governs creation, transformation, and life itself. In certain cultures, the menstrual blood was revered. It was thought to hold extraordinary spiritual power, the power of life itself. The ancient Egyptians, for instance, associated the menstrual blood with the red goddess, a symbol of creation and destruction. It was said that the blood held the power to renew life, much like the earth's ability to regenerate itself. This blood was sacred, and it was believed that women, during their cycle, were in direct communion with the creative force of the universe. But here's the twist. While this menstrual energy was recognized as a force of tremendous power, it was also understood that this power could be too potent for certain environments. Temples, as sacred spaces designed to connect humans with the divine, were very much like vibrational sanctuaries. They were designed to harmonize with the divine frequencies of the cosmos, and maintaining this delicate balance was crucial for the success of the rituals that took place within. Think of it like a delicate instrument, perhaps a finely tuned violin. If played with too much force, it could break the string. Similarly, the presence of menstrual energy, intense and full of life-creating potential, could disrupt the energetic equilibrium of the temple. Ancient texts such as the Leviticus from the Bible and even the Taoist texts in China reflected this belief. Menstruation was seen not as a time of impurity, but a time when the body's energy was too dynamic for the subtle, sacred vibrations of the temple space. In some spiritual systems, menstruation was thought to disturb the flow of energy during rituals, especially those designed to connect the priesthood to divine sources of knowledge. In many ways, this is akin to the principle of resonance in physics. Every object, every space, and every body vibrates at a certain frequency. If two objects with different frequencies come into contact, one might disturb the other, causing chaos or imbalance. Temples, with their high vibrational purpose, needed to maintain a specific frequency to channel divine energies effectively. A woman on her menstrual cycle, with her powerful, life-giving energy, could, therefore, disrupt that frequency, not because she was impure, but because she was aligned with a different cosmic rhythm during that time. To put it in another analogy, imagine trying to read a sacred book under a flickering light. The message is still there, but the flicker disrupts the clarity. Similarly, the flicker of menstrual energy was thought to disturb the clarity of divine connection. At this point, one might wonder, why could other energies, such as those of men, not be seen as disruptive in the same way? The answer lies in the specific nature of feminine energy. While both male and female energies are essential to the cosmic balance, it's the power of creation and destruction inherent in the menstrual cycle that sets it apart. The moon's phases, tied to the feminine principle, also mirror this balance of power. And like the moon, this energy is both gentle and overwhelmingly potent, capable of shifting tides, affecting landscapes, and, yes, potentially altering the sacred energies within a temple. So, the ban on menstruating women wasn't about fear or degradation, it was about honoring the raw power of creation. It was about maintaining sacred space, ensuring that the energies within the temple remained in harmony with the divine purpose. But what if there was more to this ban than just the prevention of energetic disruption? Could there be a deeper reason for this separation, a more profound spiritual insight hidden within these ancient practices? In many ancient cultures, the menstrual cycle was seen as a doorway to death and rebirth. The cycle itself mirrors the phases of the moon, and more importantly, the cycles of life. Just as the moon wanes and renews, so too does a woman's body. This cyclical transformation is not just biological, it is deeply spiritual. The blood shed during menstruation was seen as both a symbol of death, the shedding of old energy, and a symbol of rebirth, the possibility of new life. This duality is key to understanding the sacred nature of menstruation, but also why it was considered dangerous in certain temple environments. Temples, particularly in ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, and India, were often linked to the mysteries of the afterlife. The entrance to the temple was thought to represent a passage from the physical world to the spiritual realm, an intersection between life and death. The high priests and priestesses, who performed rituals within these spaces, were often regarded as gatekeepers between these realms. They worked in alignment with cosmic forces to maintain order in the universe. But the energy of a menstruating woman, with its deep connection to life and death, was a transitional force. It was said that a woman in her menstruating phase was closer to the underworld, to the realm of transformation, because of her ability to bleed without dying. This made her connected to death in a way that others, including men, were not. In cultures such as the Greeks and the Egyptians, death was not seen as an end, but as a transition, a shedding of the old self, making way for the new. The menstrual cycle, in this light, symbolized death, but not in the conventional sense. It was the death of old tissue, the clearing away of that which no longer served, so that new life could emerge. When a woman menstruates, she enters the underworld of her own body, only to emerge renewed. This was the cycle of regeneration that temples often mirrored in their sacred rites. Now, consider this, temples were sanctuaries of life-giving energy. But they were also spaces where ritual death, symbolic and literal, was acknowledged. The transition between life and death was a central theme of sacred practices. The power of menstruation, then, was not just a birth force, but also a death force. The temple priests and priestesses, who performed their rituals to commune with divine forces, were steeped in practices that included navigating these death-like transitions, perhaps even undergoing symbolic death and rebirth themselves through sacred rites. The potential danger here was clear. During menstruation, a woman's connection to death and transformation was so potent that it could disrupt the balance of the temple's rituals, which focused on maintaining life, order, and divine harmony. It wasn't just about physical purity, it was about the symbolism of life and death, and the transition between them. Take the ancient Egyptian goddess Isis, who was deeply tied to the moon and fertility. She was both the protector of life and the guide through death. Her power lay in the balance she held between these realms. Women, during menstruation, tapped into this same duality of creation and destruction. In the Egyptian tradition, certain rites involved the shedding of blood to represent spiritual renewal or protection. However, too much of this life-death energy in the sacred space could create imbalance. It wasn't a matter of impurity, but of understanding the balance between realms. The ability to bring forth life, but also the power to take it away. What's fascinating is that this ancient wisdom saw the menstrual cycle not as something to be feared or shamed, but as something too potent for regular ritual practices. It was a force to be respected, not diminished. Furthermore, consider the practice of ritual isolation during menstruation in some cultures. In places like ancient Greece, women during their cycle were often secluded for their restoration and purification. But this isolation wasn't meant to devalue their power, it was meant to allow them to harness it without disruption. It was about keeping them in alignment with the very forces they embodied, forces of life, death, and transformation. During this time, women could either retreat into the mystical realms of their own power or step into rituals that aligned their energies with the cosmic forces in a more controlled environment. Thus, menstruation was not about impurity, but about the raw, transformative power that women hold, the ability to heal, to destroy, and to create. The ban on entering temples during menstruation could be seen as a way to protect the sacred rituals, but also as a profound recognition of the spiritual danger inherent in this energy. It was not about exclusion, it was about honoring the potency of the force a woman embodied during this phase. So, what can we take from this today? Could this ancient wisdom still hold value in our modern understanding of spirituality and energy? Could there be practices that allow us to connect with this powerful, transformative energy in a way that nurtures balance and harmony? Menstruation is still one of the most powerful times in a woman's life cycle, and learning to embrace and work with this energy can lead to profound transformation. 1. Embracing the sacredness of menstruation. The first step in applying this wisdom is to begin viewing menstruation as a sacred event. In many modern spiritual practices, there is a tendency to view menstruation as a burden, an inconvenience, or something to be hidden. However, if we shift our perspective and recognize menstruation as a time when the body is in direct alignment with cosmic forces, we can unlock hidden potential. This doesn't mean rejecting the physical discomforts, it means viewing the discomfort as a kind of purification, a necessary process that clears away old energy, making space for new growth. Incorporating daily practices that honor this cycle can create deeper connection to your body's rhythms. Simple rituals like lighting a candle and reflecting on your intentions for the cycle ahead can create a sense of sacredness around your menstruation. Meditate on the connection between life and death, creation and destruction. These themes are present within you, whether you recognize them or not. 2. Creating sacred space. Just as ancient temples were designed with sacred energy in mind, you can create a sacred space in your own life, particularly during your menstrual cycle. This is not just about physical space, but about cultivating a mental and emotional environment where you feel aligned with your higher self and the cosmos. One way to do this is by using sacred geometry in your surroundings, whether through art, patterns, or crystals, to create an energy field that supports your spiritual practice. For example, the flower of life symbol, a powerful sacred geometry pattern, can be placed in your space to help foster balance and harmony. The geometric patterns mirror the sacred structures of ancient temples, and when used in your personal practice, they can help amplify the energetic field around you, particularly during menstruation when your energy is at its most transformative. 3. Rituals of transformation. The menstrual cycle is a time of inner alchemy, a process of transformation. Think of it like a spiritual detox, where you shed the old to make way for the new. You can align with this process by engaging in rituals that support transformation, both physical and energetic. One simple, yet powerful ritual, is the practice of journaling. As the ancients used to engage in rituals to purify and connect with divine energy, you can sit in stillness during your menstruation phase and reflect on the emotions, thoughts, and energies that arise. Write them down. What do you need to release? What new intentions do you want to set? By writing during this time, you not only engage with your own inner mysteries, but you also create space for deeper clarity in your life. 4. Honoring the balance between life and death. Another powerful practice is to honor the balance between life and death. Menstruation, as we've seen, represents both the shedding of life and the potential for new life. In this cycle, you're not just releasing blood, you're releasing old emotional wounds, old patterns, and things that no longer serve you. By consciously letting go of the past, you create space for new energy to enter. This could be through a simple cleansing ritual, such as burning a piece of paper on which you've written what you wish to release. As the paper burns, visualize the old energy leaving your body and making space for new growth. This practice can also be done energetically. During your cycle, engage in deep breath work or meditation. Visualize your body as a sacred vessel that is releasing everything that no longer serves you, and as you breathe deeply, imagine yourself drawing in fresh, revitalizing energy. This is the essence of alchemical transformation, a process that women undergo each month, but that can be consciously harnessed. 5. Channeling feminine power. One of the most profound aspects of this sacred energy is the ability to tap into feminine power. This isn't just about feminine energy in the traditional sense. It's about recognizing the creative potential that lies dormant within you. Whether you're menstruating or not, you can tap into this force by connecting with your intuition and allowing your inner creative force to flow freely. In practical terms, this means tapping into your intuition when making decisions. Start small, ask yourself questions and listen for the subtle responses. What is your body telling you? What is your intuition guiding you to do? This subtle but powerful energy can help you make decisions with clarity, and in times of need, it will help you navigate through challenges with strength and wisdom. Today, we can honor this ancient wisdom by embracing the sacredness of our own cycles, creating space for transformation, and aligning ourselves with the deeper rhythms of life. By tapping into this powerful energy, we can unlock profound personal growth, spiritual awakening, and a deeper connection to the divine. Remember, the power of the feminine is not to be feared, but to be respected and integrated. As you move forward, consider how you can use these practices to empower yourself and navigate life with greater clarity and intention. Thank you for joining this exploration of ancient wisdom. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more revelations into the hidden truths of our past. Until next time, embrace your power and honor the cycles within you.